Loneliness isn't the absence of love. It's the prison of too much love, love turned inward, love that became a fortress. Look at him, the man who fills his life with work, with hobbies, with late-night runs through empty streets. To the world, he's free, independent, unburdened. He laughs at parties, shares jokes with baristas, posts travel photos that make you ache with envy. But behind that smile, a quiet hum of distance, like he's watching life through glass. Have you ever felt that? That invisible wall between you and everyone else. Like you could reach out, but choose not to? This isn't stubbornness. It's not he's just picky. It's a survival mechanism, one we've all hidden inside us. Psychologists call it the Singleton paradox, a pattern where safety becomes solitude and solitude becomes a cage. Today, we'll crack that cage open, not with answers, but with the origin. Why do some men stay single for years? And what happens when the fortress starts to crumble? Stay with me. The truth is closer than you think. We live in a world that worships coupling. Relationships are the ultimate badge of success. Marriage rates are celebrated. Singlehood, often framed as failure, a problem to fix, a puzzle with missing pieces. But what if staying single isn't a problem at all? What if it's a language, a silent story written in the spaces between human connection? Let's begin with a question. What does single really mean? For many men, it's not about lack of opportunity. It's about the weight of what connection requires. To open up is to risk pain. To trust is to invite vulnerability. And for some, that risk feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, feet trembling, heart racing, while everyone cheers you to jump. Imagine a man who learned early that love equals abandonment. Perhaps his parents divorced when he was young, or a past partner vanished without explanation. Or maybe he was the caretaker in a family that drained him dry. These experiences don't just fade. They embed themselves in the subconscious like seeds. They grow into walls. These walls aren't evil. They're protective. They keep the storm outside, but they also lock the sunlight in. This is the core of the Singleton paradox. The very thing that shields you isolates you. Think of it as emotional armor. Polished, sturdy, familiar. You wear it so long you forget it's there. Until one day, you realize you can't take it off, even if you wanted to. But here's the twist no one talks about. These men aren't avoiding love. They're avoiding themselves. Pause. Let that sit. Why do we assume single men are broken? Society reduces their journey to cliches. He's commitment phobic. He's too focused on his career. He just hasn't found the right one. But what if it's deeper? What if staying single is a rebellion, a quiet refusal to repeat patterns that once destroyed them? Consider the man who builds his identity around independence. He becomes the strong one, the friend who's always there, the colleague who never shows weakness. This role isn't a choice, it's a performance, a way to say, I don't need anyone without admitting, I'm terrified to need. He dates. He might even have long-term partners, but something always pulls him back. A flicker of fear when things get serious, a sudden need for space. A conversation that ends with, I'm just not ready. Ready for what? Not the relationship. Ready to face the parts of himself he's buried. What if I told you that every single man carrying this weight is already in love, with a version of himself he can't yet see? Let's shift the lens. Beyond psychology, this is a story of myths. We've built myths around masculinity. Myth number 1. Real men are invulnerable. Myth number 2. Asking for help is weakness. Myth number 3. Solitude is strength. These myths aren't lies, they're survival tools. For generations, men were taught that emotional openness was dangerous. That vulnerability got you hurt. So they learned to hide, to replace intimacy with distraction, to fill silence with work, with screens, with noise. But silence has a voice. It whispers, "You're safe here, but you're alone." Now, picture this. A man sits alone in his apartment. It's 2 a.m. The city hums outside. He scrolls through photos of happy couples, not with envy, but with a strange longing. Not for a partner, for the courage to want one. He's trapped in a loop. If I open up, I might get hurt. If I stay closed, I stay safe. But safety without connection is a slow fade. A life lived in grayscale. Here's the surprise that changes everything. The men who stay single the longest are often the most deeply capable of love. They just don't know how to give it to themselves. Let's talk about the mirror. Every single man carries a mirror inside him. It reflects back his deepest fears. If I let someone in, they'll see my flaws. If I love, I'll lose. If I trust, I'll be betrayed. But mirrors can lie. They magnify shadows. They distort reality. What if the mirror isn't showing truth? What if it's showing projections, fears from the past, not the present? This is where the origin lives. Not in current choices, but in old wounds. A child who learned silence to keep peace. A teenager who had pain to fit in. An adult who built walls so high they became his horizon. These patterns aren't bad. They're adaptive. They kept him safe once. But now, they're fossils. Remnants of battles long over. Yet the mind clings to them. Because the unknown is scarier than the familiar. Have you ever asked yourself, what am I protecting by staying alone? It's not about blaming the past. It's about understanding the present. Think of a tree. Its roots grow deep into old soil. To change, it must push through pain. But the tree doesn't resent its roots. It uses them to reach higher. Men who stay single for years aren't stuck. They're in transition, a slow, silent metamorphosis. They're learning to replace armor with openness, trade performance for presence, see vulnerability not as weakness, but as honesty. This isn't easy. It's a daily practice, like learning to dance with a partner you've avoided for decades. But here's the truth that will shake you. The moment you stop running from singlehood, it loses its power over you. Let's dismantle the facade piece by piece. Piece 1. The happy loneliness myth. Many single men project contentment. I love my space. I don't need anyone. But beneath that, a quiet ache. Not for a person, but for belonging. To feel seen, not just admired. To feel held, not just respected. Piece 2. The fear of being needy. Society labels emotional needs as weak. So men suppress them. They call it self-sufficiency. But true strength isn't suppressing needs, it's honoring them. Piece 3. The dating charade. They date. They flirt. They might even say, "I love you." But deep down, they're waiting for the other person to leave. Because leaving confirms their fear. See, I knew I couldn't be loved. When the relationship ends, they feel relief, not grief. Relief that the test is over. Grief for what could have been if they'd let it. When was the last time you let yourself need something from another person without shame? Now let's talk about hope. Hope isn't about finding the one. It's about finding yourself. The journey out of long-term singlehood starts with one step: self-compassion. Not self-pity, not poor me, but a gentle acknowledgement. I've been carrying heavy things. and I'm allowed to put them down. This means sitting with discomfort, naming fears out loud, allowing yourself to feel sadness, anger, or fear without judgment. It's not quick, it's not linear, but it's real. What if the greatest love story you'll ever live is the one where you learn to love yourself? Imagine a man who decides to try therapy, not because he's broken, but because he's curious. He talks about his fear of abandonment. He traces it back to a childhood memory. He doesn't fix it overnight, but for the first time, he understands it. Understanding is the first crack in the fortress. Light starts to seep in. He begins small. He shares a vulnerable thought with a friend. He admits he's lonely, not as a flaw, but as a fact. He asks for help with a task he used to handle alone. Each act is a rebellion against the Singleton paradox. And slowly, the walls begin to soften. Not disappear, just soften. This isn't about becoming coupled. It's about becoming free. Free to connect. Free to risk. Free to be fully human. What would your life look like if you traded safe for alive? Let's address the unspoken fear. If I open up, I'll get hurt. Yes, you might. But staying closed guarantees a different kind of pain. The pain of never being truly known. There's no guarantee of happiness in relationships, but there's a guarantee in hiding. You'll never find what you're missing. The men who stay single for years aren't failures. They're survivors. They've protected themselves for so long that protection became their identity. But identities can evolve. Think of the ocean. Its surface is calm, but beneath, currents of change, tides that pull and push. Eventually, even the stillest water moves. So will he. Here's the final revelation. The man who stays single isn't too broken for love. He's too brave to settle for less than real connection. We've traveled through fortresses and mirrors, through fears and hopes, because the psychology of men who stay single isn't about why they're alone. It's about why they stay safe. These men aren't outliers. They're reflections of us all, of the parts we hide, of the love we withhold, even from ourselves. If you felt even a flicker of recognition today, you're not alone. And here's what I need from you. What's one wall you've built to protect yourself? And are you ready to let it soften? Drop your answer in the comments. Not just yes or no. Tell me why. Share a memory, a fear, a hope, because stories connect us. And connection is the antidote to every fortress. In our next episode, we'll dive into the silent language of loneliness, why some people feel alone in a crowd, and how to break that cycle. It's raw, it's real, and it might change how you see every relationship in your life. Hit subscribe, because the next chapter of your story could start with a single click. Thank you for watching. And remember, the bravest thing a man can do is to let himself be seen.